All right, so today, the first step back to citizenship. Now, these days, most people don't have an issue admitting this because deep down they already know it. We live in a country claiming by the people and for the people, yet it's pretty obvious we don't call the shots. We're just passengers. Passengers in a country we're supposed to be steering. We watch decisions getting made about our streets, our money, our schools, our lives, and we just nod along like background characters in our own story because the cost of caring is higher than the cost of tolerating. I mean, at best, we complain in small circles or post a comment online or maybe just argue with someone for a few minutes. And then we just go back to surviving inside of a system we never had a hand in shaping. We're pretty good at pretending this is normal and that this is just how the way things are. But things change a little bit each day. And little by little, most of us have stopped participating in democracy. We have stopped being citizens. And if you look at that honestly, that's what happened. We stopped being citizens and surrendered to the downstream effects of a government that we all know is corrupt. We're like modern day serfs, claiming these kings are the rightful rulers appointed by God. We didn't walk away from being an active participant in democracy because we're stupid or lazy. We did it because we were exhausted. We were overwhelmed. We were told repeatedly, implicitly and explicitly, that our voice is too small, that our time is too limited, that our vote is diluted, or that our world is too complicated. This was pounded into our heads in primary school. That's the real reason class sizes are so big. So we learn early how easy it is to be drowned out by the loudest voice. And it worked. It made people believe the most corrosive lie of any nation. I don't matter. That lie hollowed out communities. It turned neighbors into strangers, classrooms into breaking grounds. It made politics a spectator sport instead of a shared responsibility. It turned policy, which should be arithmetic, engineering, and problem solving, into a circus of personalities, branding, culture wars, and emotional manipulation. And in that vacuum, power was funneled upward, quietly, predictably, and mathematically. Our power as individuals wasn't lost, it was just redirected. And the way this country is wired, it gets redirected straight away from normal people into the hands of people that already have too much, to people that already have more than they can use. Does it matter that a handful of people are making the decisions for all of us? Now, I know it may seem trivial to ask people to become citizens because from their perspective, not much changes day by day. But once you're alive long enough, you realize that the record that's playing is stuck on repeat. I don't hear enough people say the following, so I'm just going to say it. The only reason this continues is because we're disorganized, not misinformed, not outnumbered, not powerless, just disorganized. That's it. The population of a country is like a sleeping giant. A sleeping giant with no nervous system, no coordination, no strategy. Just raw potential scattered across millions of isolated individuals. And that leads us to the first step. And that leads us to the first step of becoming a citizen again. Not the final step, the first one. Not the perfect system, just one that we operate in. This is just the first necessary, undeniable step for any population that wants its country back. And that's establishing neighborhood voter unions that are a group of cells of 50 people each. Not political parties, not echo chambers, not personality cults. Unions, or as I have come to see them, the roots of an actual democracy. When we started this nation, people united under the idea of decentralization of power from the hierarchy that ruled their lives. Except it was only a ruse. And that decentralized power was quickly centralized in the years following the revolution. Voter unions can be where people in the same neighborhood facing the same issues sit down and look at the same local reality and say, what matters here? What actually improves our lives? And what do the numbers say? This is a real union, not a workers' union, where everyone is generally of the same mind. Neighborhood voter unions can be a place where reality is shared, rather than sharing narrow perspectives. Because you can't rebuild a democracy on vibes, outrage, or charisma. You can't rebuild it with narrow perspectives. You rebuild it the same way you build anything to last. A solid local foundation with a structure built for those who use it, and with clear, simple rules. And the rules matter. There must be boundaries, or it collapses into the same chaos that surrounds us. Rule number 1 is that we focus on problems, not personalities. The problem is the boss. The problems lead the conversations, lead the debates, lead the policy making, and lead the interactions with the local, state, and federal government. Everyone must act as oversight, not competing to be the king of the group. No hero worship, no villains, no celebrity politics, just analysis on reality. Rule 2, decisions must be evidence-based. If an idea can't survive the math, accuracy of data, and basic logic, it dies. Only a solution with majority support is elevated above just being a proposal. Every proposal stays inside each group of 50 people until a majority of the group wants to move it to sharing with other neighborhoods. Rule 3, everybody participates, like in a democracy. No more hiding behind, I don't matter. That's not humility. That's surrender. And surrender is how we got here. We all have 5 minutes a day to check our phones. I mean, in the beginning, it might be a little longer to build this foundation in every group of 50 people. But once that's done, it's just a quick check, unless you're working on a policy of your own. But that's totally voluntary. Rule 4, the union exists to coordinate, not to dictate. Each neighborhood adapts the structure to its own reality. Flexibility, autonomy, and practical freedom must be the foundation of this approach. Rule 5, the purpose of these unions is influence. Just like with a megaphone, groups of people's voices are amplified exponentially when they organize. When hundreds of neighborhoods organize, those neighborhoods start to fill legislative seats with their own people. When thousands of neighborhoods organize, they make money in elections obsolete. When millions of neighborhoods organize, the country starts to be dictated by our organization, rather than the organization of private interests. This isn't some unachievable fantasy. It's just basic political physics. Organized people beat disorganized power. We outnumber them. Now try to imagine, really imagine, what would happen if your neighborhood formed one? What would happen if your neighborhood formed a union? Over time, every person that now feels invisible would become part of a collective voice of the group of 50 people that they are in. A 50-person cell of the union. Every person who thought that they were alone would find alignment, clarity, and shared priorities because we're all living in the same space. Instead of arguing online with strangers, people would work with actual humans who share their sidewalks, their schools, and their problems. That would change the whole idea of what it means to be a member of a community. I mean, just walking out of your house would feel different. I mean, just think about it. people would stop ghosting each other and start deciding together. HOAs would be the first ones to bend to our will. And as more neighborhoods join in, something far more important would unfold. A culture of citizenship would return. Not nationalism or partisanship. Citizenship. Shared responsibility. Shared problem solving. Shared stakes in our neighborhood. It's like taking advantage of a membership that you've paid for since birth but never used. This is how nations are rescued. Not by some leader, not by a savior, not by some perfect plan handed down from above, but by millions of people doing the most human fucking thing in the world, talking to their neighbors and solving problems together. If you want a country to change and you're not organizing with the people physically closest to you, you're still not on the path to structural change. You're aiming downstream of that structural change. But you could be aiming upstream. And it's a lot easier than you think. You just start small. Start simply. It could be a living room, a backyard barbecue, a community center, the closest park, or the nearest school, a weekly meeting, a shared open document, a clear, transparent structure of solutions over problems, not people over people. The more eyes that we have on our shared problems, the more complete our understanding of those problems can be. Because each one of us has a very small view into the world. And once you do all that, there you go. You got a voter union, a nucleus of citizenship, a local power center. It's like a quiet revolution built on logic, trust, and a shared reality. Larger groups of organized people have more negotiating power. It's that simple. We speak together. We collaborate with other neighborhoods. We collaborate with other cells of the union. And together we control elections. We change the laws. We shift the economy from extraction to production. We just need other humans who are tired of being spectators. The first step is the simplest one. Just stop believing that you don't matter and start acting like a citizen. Fake it till you make it if you have to. And then build the union that your neighborhood already is. But it's a union that leverages organizational power instead of ignoring it. Because no one is coming to save you, but your neighbors might. And that's enough to start everything. I'm still working on how to best roll this out. So if you're interested in this kind of thing, send me an email. Let's collaborate. I'm from Nevada, but you don't necessarily need to be to work on a union structure together. But in Nevada, I'm aiming at the Constitution because lasting change starts with that Constitution. But if you're in Nevada and you want change and you've explored this idea of changing the Constitution, please reach out to me. Let's collaborate. All right, thanks for watching my video. See you guys tomorrow. Peace.